Many years ago in the Yoruba kingdom, there lived a prosperous but humble farmer named Adisa. His name was known far and wide for his wisdom, hard work, and impeccable character. Adisa had a beautiful wife, Anike, and together they had two sons, Olu and Tunde, and a daughter named Folake. Their farm thrived, and their family was the envy of the village. However, wealth and success often comes with trials, and Adisa's life was no exception. Adisa and Anike had been married for over 15 years. They had weathered many storms together, but recently, things had changed. Anike, once beautiful, cheerful, and warm, had grown distant and cold. Adisa, noticing the change, tried to draw her closer, but she withdrew even further. She avoided his touch, his gaze, and even their once lively conversation. At first, Adisa thought it was stress or fatigue, so he showered her with gifts, golden beads, fine clothes, and food from the best markets in the land, but nothing seemed to ease the distance between them. Rumors began to swirl in the village about Anike's strange behavior, but Adisa dismissed them. He believed in her loyalty, for they had shared many years together. One evening, Adisa was sitting under the large iroko tree at the edge of his farm, pondering the changes in his home. His friend and confidant, Babashola, joined him. Babashola was an elderly man with a reputation for being wise and discerning. Sensing Adisa's worry, he asked, "My brother, what troubles your spirits? You have the wealth of the earth, a beautiful family, and good health. So why is your face dark with concern?" Adisa sighed deeply. "It is my wife, Anike. She has changed." Babashola, "It is as if I no longer know her. Her heart is elsewhere, and I fear I cannot reach her." Babashola narrowed his eyes and leaned closer. "My friend, have you considered there may be another man?" Those words hit Adisa like a spear. Like, another man? Could it be? He shook his head vigorously. "No, Anike will never betray me." "Do not dismiss the possibility, Adisa. It is said that when the palm tree begins to bend, it is not without cause," Babashola said. Adisa left the conversation troubled but unwilling to believe Babashola's suggestion. That night, he decided to speak to Anike directly. "Anike," he began gently as they prepared for bed. "Something is troubling me, and I feel I must speak." Anike looked at him with tired eyes but said nothing. "I feel you are no longer the woman I married. You are distant, you are cold. I do not wish to accuse you unjustly, but I fear there may be someone else. Is there another man?" Anike looked shocked. Her face darkened. She turned her back to him, refusing to answer. Adisa's heart sank. He did not press her further, but silence spoke louder than words. The revelation. This turned into weeks, and Adisa's suspicion grew. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, Adisa heard a soft whispering voice outside their compound. He crept quietly to the door, peering through a crack. His heart nearly stopped when he saw Anike, draped in a finest wrapper, speaking softly to a shadowy figure just outside their compound. The figure was tall and muscular, and though Adisa could not make out his face, but the familiarity between them was unmistakable. The ground seemed to shift beneath Adisa's feet. He clenched his fist, but held his tongue. He needed to be sure to catch them when they thought they were safe. The next day, he sought the advice of Baba Shola again. "Patience, my friend," Baba Shola said wisely. "You must wait for the right moment. Anger clouds judgment. Wash and be silent." So Adisa waited. And the next night, he followed Anike as she slipped out of the house again. This time, she went deeper into the forest. Adisa's heart raced as he stalked silently behind her, his breath steady, but his mind in turmoil. At a secluded grove by the riverbank, Anike met the same man. Adisa watched as they embraced, confirming his worst fear. His heart shattered. He wanted to rush in, confront them both, and tear the man apart. But remember Baba Shola's advice: patience. He would have his moment soon enough. The test of loyalty. The next day, Adisa acted as though nothing had happened. He did not confront Anike. Instead, he went to the village priest Orunmila, known for his wisdom and ability to see beyond the physical world. Orunmila listened to Adisa still with a grave expression, then spoke. "You have been betrayed, my son, but you must not act in haste. A man's wisdom lies not in his strength, but in his ability to control his emotions. I will guide you in this trial, but you must follow my instructions closely." Adisa nodded eagerly, willing to do anything to reclaim his honor and his own. Orunmila instructed him to invite Anike and her lover to a feast. "Prepare the finest meal, Adisa. Show them kindness beyond measure, and then, when the time is right, I will tell you what to do." Adisa was confused, but obeyed. A week later, he hosted the grand feast. Anike, suspecting nothing, brought her lover under the guise of a distant relative. The entire village attended, and everyone praised Adisa for his generosity and wealth. During the feast, Orunmila appeared. He approached Adisa and whispered in his ear, "The time has come. Give them the gift." Adisa stood up and raised his calabash, silencing the room. "My wife Anike has brought a guest to our home," he said, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "And as our custom, I wish to honor him with a special gift." He beckoned the man forward. The man smiled, thinking he had fooled everyone, and approached proudly. Adisa handed him the calabash. "Inside this calabash is the future of your life. What you do with it will determine your fate." The man opened the calabash, and inside he found a white cloth and a knife. The room again fell silent. Orunmila then stepped forward and spoke in a voice that seemed to come from the heart itself. "This is a test of honor. If you are truly a man of worth, take the knife and swear to the gods that your intentions towards this family are pure. If your heart is clean, the gods will bless you. If your heart is tainted, you will face their wrath." The man's face went pale. He stammered, looking for a way out, but there was none. The villagers murmured, sensing something was amiss. Adisa's heart raced as he waited for the man's next move. Will he take the knife and swear falsely, or will he confess his sin? The suspense. The man's hand shook as he reached for the knife. Anike's eyes widened in fear, and Adisa could see the guilt in her face. Suddenly, the man dropped the knife and bolted from the feast, running into the forest without a word. The villagers were left in stunned silence. Orunmila turned to the crowd and spoke. The gods have revealed the truth. This man's heart was dark, and his soul was not fit to stand before them. Immediately, Anike fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She begged Adisa for forgiveness, but his heart was too heavy with pain. Now I ask you, my audience, what would you do if you were Adisa? Would you forgive Anike and rebuild your family, or would you cast her out for betrayal? The choice is yours to make, but remember, every decision carries consequences. This story ends here, but the lesson remains that betrayal, no matter how well hidden, will always come to light. What would you do?